Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my bookcase for this comparative tasting of 3 recent Mexican white rums. So if you're clicking on this video, I have to imagine you already know something about at least one of these, but bear with me. I'm going to kind of explain what the heck these things are before I get into them. The easiest to explain is the Paranubes, which has been around maybe since last year. So this is a rum from the Mezcal Vago folks. It's from Oaxaca. I guess they found it in a sort of off-the-road drinking joint somewhere. Now, this is made entirely from fresh cane juice, and it's made in a column still. So wild distilled. So you can think of it as kind of if you like, a Mexican rum agricole. More about this when we get to it. These two aren't from Oaxaca. They're actually from Michoacán. Michoacán traditional rum is called Charanda. And this one is labeled a Charanda, actually, the Uruapan here. Gustoso could legally be a Charanda, only they don't put it on the bottle because I think they figure that Americans don't know what it is. And they're right. I had to look it up. So onto this one. I have to say that the Gustoso range, so the La Luna Mezcal people are bringing this in, and I like their stuff very much. I have to say that the branding on this is a little bit baffling. So they have 3 products. They have an aged rum. Let's take that off the table. And they have 2 white rums. This is the top line one. The thing is, the only thing that's going to kind of distinguish the 2 rums in their range is, you see that little Guarapo there, sort of written in kind of uneventful script. That's kind of the only way you can tell these 2 apart. And just kind of looking at them side by side, you get the sense that, oh, maybe this is the same thing, just bottled at higher strength. It's not. It's actually, if you go to their website, because it's not on the bottle, if you go to their website, they will tell you this is actually entirely pot distilled, double pot distilled, and it's also from cane juice. So not column, we're talking pot distilled. So it's actually more like a claret from Haiti than it is, like a rum agricole. Also wild fermented, so far as I can tell. Now, the lower bottling in the range, you might think it's just this watered down. It's not. It's actually a blend of this, which is pot distilled, with molasses-based rum that's been column distilled. And you might say, oh, that sounds really cool and weird. It is. I haven't seen that elsewhere. And you might wonder, okay, why isn't that in this tasting? It's because I wanted to buy this instead. This is the Uruapan. This is actually a big brand in Michoacán. And I'll just read it for you. This is a blend of 50% cane juice, copper pot still distilled, with 50% column distilled molasses based rum. And they give you the cane and some soil information. Anyways, bottled at 46%. This is also the cheapest rum in this tasting. This is $25 or so, and it comes in a liter bottle, and it's kind of blue. Like, all these packagings are, I love all of them. These are great packages. You never mistake them for anything from the Caribbean. This is probably my favorite though, because it's like it's blue. It's like it's Curacao or something. 1,500 bottles for this batch. I'll put all the important information down below. Anyways, this is the first one we're going to go to. Is there anything else important I need to tell you about this? Michoacán. Yeah, I'll put it out below. Charanda Blanco. Here we go. All right. On the nose. Okay, so if you were to kind of tell someone this was a blend of like claret and maybe one of the heavier distilled like Cuban rums, before they blend them with the more aggressively distilled stuff. This is probably what they have in mind. So the cane juice stuff is leading the way. You're getting like look, a kind of distinct grassiness, like dried grass. And usually I don't get that in agricole rum, as much as other people at least. But I'm getting it here, like big time. Lime, not like lime juice, like lime pith, like the white stuff. If you kind of isolated that and nosed it, maybe a little zest too. A little brine, little olive juice. Kind of beets, like cooked beets. Throw some on in the saute pan for like 30 minutes. Like maybe a couple of like one or two sun-dried tomatoes, just the teeniest little hint of sun-dried tomato. But then behind that, you behind those sort of kind of more cane juicy notes, there's some actual just straight up cane juice in this. But behind all that, you're actually getting like some classic confectionery stuff, which I associate with column distilled molasses-based stuff. So like jelly beans, like classic candy, like a little anise too. Grass is kind of holding everything together. Maybe like a whipped cream, not like homemade whipped cream. This is the stuff that comes out of the squirty can. And you go, that one, that kind of whipped cream. On the palate, I'm going to come back to this with a little bit of water in it, but just neat. It doesn't have a lot of heft or body to it. This is pretty modest in its mouthfeel, but it's very yummy actually. It has it's delicious stuff. Very grassy again, but it's sort of grassy, like rock candy. Like some herbs in there, like spearmint maybe, but also like parsley. Citrusy notes. Little like grapefruit juice mixed with orange juice mixed with it. Throw some lime zest in there again. A little hint of olive, but not too much. And it's all sort of been, smothered in like chai latte. So not like real masala chai, not the good. We're talking like Starbucks chai, but with like whipped cream on top. If you like, again, sprayed the can of whipped cream all over it. Yeah, the main thing to note is the grassiness mixed with those confectionery notes. This is it's very yummy. It's very accessible. I'm going to give this a squirt of water and come back to it. Okay, so the other two. These are the high rollers. Something like regular size bottle, low 30s in terms of price, so 30, 35-ish. This is mid 40s, but it's a big bottle, and it's at a higher strength. I'm actually going to review these two together, and I will explain why in a second. Okay. So this is 49% alcohol, and this guy's 54. Okay. So Paranubes is pretty open about where it comes from. This is Master Distiller Jose Luis Carrera. You get the region and the town and some cane varieties. And it tells you that this is made on a 6-plate copper still, so small, tiny little artisanal still. And that's awesome. This is less helpful. It does tell you Ron Agricola de Michoacán on the back. I'm not sure if you can see that. So I have a feeling they had some struggles in how to like present this to an American crowd. As for who makes this, they do actually. I couldn't find it on the website, but on the label, if you look really closely, you can see. I don't know if you can see in that little circle there. It says Familia Chavez Figueroa. I couldn't find any information on these folks. when I went and looked, but they're actually crediting the makers in the tiniest possible fashion. Would love a little more, meat there, guys. But anyhow, so let me explain why I'm reviewing these two together. So these should be on paper rather different. I mean, they're both cane juice rums, but pot still, column still, Michoacán, Oaxaca, and there's differences in strength, so the and they're both wild distilled or wild fermented. I'm sorry. So they'll have different local yeasts, right? And different cane varieties probably too. And the sum result of that is that, especially on the nose, these are almost indistinguishable. Like, I mean, I can tell them apart because I have them side by side. But honestly, if you handed me a glass of one of these in isolation and told me it was the other, I would probably not call you on it. Like, it's okay. But even more remarkable than the similarity is the particular nature of what these things smell like. I mean, I would say, like, the best I can do is something like, take a can of San Marzano tomatoes, right? The really good cooking tomatoes. Open that up and then just dump it on a freshly paved road in Alabama in the middle of the summer. And then, wait, that's not enough. Take that and then smother it in just olives and seawater. It's fantastic. I love the way these things smell. I mean, even by if you're a Claren nerd or an agricole nerd, this is out there. This is great. There are differences. This is, this is more straight up, tomatoes on, rotting on the road. This is more maybe a little bit more like artisan ketchup, if such a thing exists, really nice ketchup, but smothered in herbs. It's very herbal. It's more herbal than this by a little bit. It's kind of like this has got a ton of stuff going on, but it's kind of all concentrated in the middle. This is a little bit more spread out. There's highs and lows, and the middle is kind of a little bit, less full. Just like tar and olives, pickles, different kind of vinegars. It smells like food. Kind of a little bit of fennel in there too. Leafy, kind of maybe not herbs. Maybe it's more just straight up wet leaves, kind of dry and wet leaves mixed together. Some basil. Let's try this one. Very similar. Still the stewed vegetables thing. The vinegars. This is more this is straight up cider and maybe some wine vinegar, white wine vinegar thrown in there. This is a whole bunch of maybe some rice vinegar. There's just a ton of stuff going on here. More anise than fennel. Sort of so anise fennel, if you like. Kind of a cigar note. Almost do you know the green, the claros, the green cigars? Smell kind of funky herbal. There's a little bit of that going on here, both lit and unlit. If I can, if I can do that. Kind of something floral in there, it's like a geranium or something like that. I mean, they're super close. Okay, on the palate. Okay, 49%, showing it. Actually quite soft though. Kind of a briny, plasticky, tomatoey, like cotton candy, if that makes sense, is the first thing I would say. And the Paranubes, I guess it's Paranubes, right? Or whatever. Similar. Still, more rock candy than cotton candy. Oh, olives, tons of olives. Cigar smoke again, lapsang souchong, kind of a rosewater thing. Also, like mushrooms. I don't know what kind of, some exotic mushrooms, but let's keep it vague. Like tomatoes, but like not the more like tomato skins. If you could just pull off all the skins and chew on those. Yeah, black pepper, kind of an old leather kind of note. Like just pull off a chunk of a cover in an old book and chew on it. Back to the Guarapo for a minute. Yeah, kind of more high end, more high toned. There's some more floral things going on. And that ketchupy thing, but also just more kind of earthy and herbal, more rooibos than lapsang, if I can put the distinct. Rooibos can actually be super strong if you like use too much in your brewing, which I tend to do because I'm an idiot with tea. It's very cooling. It's very sort of cooling and bitter on the back end, which I like quite a lot. Okay, so I'm going to keep these from getting confused with each other, but I'm going to give them a squirt of water. That gets 1 squirt. Let's do a squirt and a half, and this gets a full 2. Let me just try this, see if that's enough. Nope, a little more. Okay. Whew. These are wild. I mean, it's just fun, right? I mean, there is nothing else. I mean, you can draw connections to Clarin, obviously, and some of the agricoles, but these are just so much, more food-like and sort of tomatoey and olivey and very interesting. I will say, I mean, if you love this style, go out and buy both. But I will say, if you hate one of these, you're probably going to hate the other one. So we'll talk about that later in a bit. Okay, back to the humble little Uruapan. Remember, this is $25 for a liter, so a lot cheaper than the other guys. A little bit of water. Oh, it's actually some lychee fruit that comes out to play. Still very sort of grassy, but also like old school candy. But lychee fruit and maybe some lemon lime in there. You threw some 7-Up in here, but also a little bit of like Northern Italian, like Alto Adige white wine. Like really good Pinot Grigio, not the crap that you bust out with pizza. This is the good stuff. On the palate, kind of the same thing, but it gets turned up like 2 notches. So it's like a grassy, take like whipped cream, but somehow infuse it with like dried grass and like grapefruit and maybe some different herbs, like parsley and stuff. It's very yummy. This little Uruapan. Mm-hmm. Little lime zest, little gingerbread, like a little gingerbread man in here. This is actually a really nice. I mean, it's simple, right? It's not super complicated. Um, it's a kind of grassy agricole style rum that's being cushioned by these sort of more pastry like notes. Actually, like like sugary croissants is like what could be like a good note for this. And that's fine. I mean, it's not profound. It doesn't need to be profound for its price point. I'm going to give this like an 83 plus. Solid. It's not winning this comparison, but in a way, we'll come back to this. I think this might actually be the most dangerous rum here. Hold off on that. And going back to these two. Okay. The Guarapo first. Way more smoky, actually. Just plastic on fire for days. And I love it, actually. And tomato. And like smoky herbs. I mean, honestly, this kind of comes like, I don't know if you can distill tomato, but this would kind of be like what I would expect tomato eau de vie to smell like, or ketchup eau de vie, maybe I should say. More of that sort of vinegary note on the palate. That shut me up. Very drying. Like fennel heaven. If you're like a fennel fan, this is your jam. Tomato skins again. Kind of smoky. Different kinds of smoke. It's kind of like Lagavulin without the peaty part, or without the, if that makes sense. One more try. Top notes, floral, herbal stuff, the tomatoey thing or ketchupy thing, but then very earthy, very just mud and tar and not nice things. I like this a lot. By comparison, Paranubes tomato blows off just a little bit, but it's still definitely there. It's and there's more smoke in this too. I mean, it's just like also lots of burning things, like plastic again. So they're starting to converge actually more. This is actually more ketchupy now. Burning plastic, anise, but also fennel. Kind of more floral notes, like just someone's garden caught on fire. On the palate. These are big boys. Fattens out, also very drying. Just like black licorice, for days. And like smoked black licorice. Absinthe. Actually quite drinkable now. Let me try this one more time. Very drinkable. I mean, people are going to be put off by certain aspects of this, but if you can get past that, crazy nose, there's actually a very solid kind of aperitif style sipper here. I'm going to give both of these the same score. Let's say 86 plus points. Wild stuff. I think I slightly prefer the Paranubes, but not enough to change the scores at all. These are both spectacular. I think it's a wash, really. This is more expensive, but bigger bottle, and it comes in higher proof. So it's pick your favorite. If you ship Oaxaca, then go there, and if you like Michoacán, whatever. But But let me go back to this for just a second, okay? Because, I mean, these are great. Go buy them if you're spirits, if you're like a white rum nerd. I mean, it's worth your money. This is more interesting in certain kinds of respects. Obviously, it's not the best, like, artisan, backwoods Mexican rum here. It's not winning. It's, what, 83 plus, I said? But to see the value in this, I think you have to stop looking at it like an artisan product and just start looking at it like a white rum. Because as a category, white rum has basically kind of a big dead zone in the middle of it. So the prices, at least in Chicago, start at around $10-12. That gets you your Bacardis, your Cruzans, which are fine, but they're very basic. Once you get to $30, right, things start getting exciting real fast. You start hitting, the pot still Jamaicans, the agricoles start to come online. Stuff gets super good, super fast. And between then, those two poles in the middle, you've got that big blip at like maybe $24 or $25 with Ray and Nephew. But aside from that, you've got a whole bunch of rums that are basically better than your Bacardis and Cruzans, but not that much better. They still, aggressively column distilled, kind of that de-aged thing where they filter it. I don't understand. And they're all pretty much bottled at 40% ABV. The plantation one isn't, but that's also dosed, so it's kind of its own thing. What is this? This is $25, but it's a liter bottle. So if you actually price it with the crowd, if it was in a regular bottle, it would be $18, $20, somewhere around there. Right? That's what we're looking at. And it's good. I mean, put it this way. You have to start thinking about, is there a better white rum option in this kind of price range than this, for $18, $20, I mean. And that's before you even start thinking about the style of this. This is a hybrid style. It's like, Haiti and Cuba like came together and joined hands to make this thing. This is, so you start to think maybe this isn't such a great artisan rum option, but wow, is it interesting as like a house rum option? You get what I'm saying? Like a bar rum, like just a default, go-to for any cocktail you happen to be making. Have I mentioned this is bottled at 46? You see my excitement here. So this is a really, so again, these are for the nerds. Like, these are for the hardcore, maniacs who, love their Clarins and stuff. This is a serious contender for pretty much everyone. Also, did I mention the cool blue bottle? This is great. 83 points, hell of a value. More expensive, more nerdy, worth buying if you're into that. I'm sure there are going to be a lot more of these things to come in the next couple of years because, I mean, the quality's there. And the question is just, are we going to buy it? And I'll leave you with that. Thanks so much for watching my little comparison video, and cheers.